Hi everyone, it's Chi here. Okay, so I'm going to be revealing the results of my experiments that I've been doing for the last 3 weeks in this video. Okay, so before I go into the experiments and what I did and the results, and I promise I will give you the results, you'll need to watch to the end to get the results, okay? But before I get into the results, I just want to talk about what it is that I do and why I'm doing these experiments, okay? So I'm a life purpose coach, and what I do is I help people to discover their life purpose, okay? Now, the backstory of the life purpose journey is that the life purpose journey is a God-given path. So the gist of it is, when you were created, God created the world, He created everybody and every organism and everything on this earth and the universe itself. And when He created you with a life purpose, okay? Now, He does have an agenda for that. The agenda is that if you execute your life purpose, you will also transform the world, which is what He wants, okay? He wants you to go out there and transform the world in some way, okay? Help and eradicate all the problems that are out there, or at least one problem anyway. Okay, so the life purpose journey is a God-given path. Now, there is a problem with that for a lot of people, and the problem with that is a lot of people don't believe in God, okay, or they don't know that He exists. There is a vast majority of people that do believe in God, okay, and so they are okay, they're in the light sort of thing. But for those people, and it could be you that's watching, that don't believe in God, I'm actually doing these experiments to be able to allow you to experience Him in a more tangible way, okay? So if you don't believe in God, if you're an atheist or whatever, it's really hard to believe in something that you can't see or touch or smell or whatever. But you can experience God, okay? If you're open enough to it, you can experience God. Okay, so I'm actually doing these experiments to show you, or I hope to show you, that God actually does exist. And I hope that I will be able to convince you that He does. And in that regard, if I am successful, then I would invite you to come on the life purpose journey with me and to discover your life purpose and then to execute it. Okay, because I'm a life purpose coach, obviously. I do run my own business, my own coaching business, and I would love for you to join me and and get there. So with these experiments, I probably need to explain to you why I've selected this particular experiment to do, okay? The experiments that I've conducted are, or have been conducted before, but I'm actually going to do them with a little bit of a twist, okay? So the rice experiments, and they're also plants experiments as well, okay? But I'm going to call them the life purpose experiments. I'm going to change it up a bit, okay? So the God/life purpose experiments. All right, so I guess to understand why I chose these experiments to show you, or to try and convince you or give you a way to experience God, is I'll probably need to give you the backstory of these experiments, okay? So let's start with the guy that's behind these experiments, and his name is Marazu Emoto, Dr. Masaru Emoto. Okay, and he was a Japanese scientist, and he conducted a whole series of research. He's not alive anymore, he's passed. And he also wrote some, obviously published his research and published some, a book. I believe it's a book, yeah? And it was a best-selling, book or research, yeah? So what it is I'll give you the background of the rice experiment. His research was based on how language could change water at the molecular level. Okay, so what it was he was able to do was show that the snowflake, which is water when it's frozen and then sort of thawed to a certain level where it's still snowflake, you can actually capture it, like photograph it, this actual snowflake, yeah? And he found that he could actually change the snowflake formation, or that the snowflake formation changed when a word, like a word, this is language, yeah, was stuck on the container of the water. Okay, so he would put words such as love, ignore, and hate, and all sorts of things on the glass container of water, and he would take the pictures of the water at a molecular level before and after, and he actually realized that it changed, right? The formations of water with words like love and gratitude, I will kill you, I hate you, that sort of thing, they're all different, right? He even read prayers or spoke prayers to them, and he found that it changed the molecular level. He found that water molecules were different in, say, a polluted river as opposed to a very clean stream. He, so it's just amazing, because all he did was push a word on a container of water, and that was enough for it to change. He was able to also, extend his research. Okay, so what he did was these famous rice experiments. And so what it was you get boiled rice, it's like steamed rice, yeah? And you put them into different jars. And each jar would be labeled something different. So one would be labeled love, and another one would be labeled hate, another one would be labeled ignore, right? And he found that after a month or whatever it was, the jars would rot differently. The love jar would be, the rice would still be fairly fresh. The hate jar would be rotten and have a lot of mold and all the rest of it. And the ignore jar would be pretty bad too, because ignoring something is not a good thing. But it normally wouldn't be as bad as the hate jar, but it would still be pretty bad, okay? So that's the rice experiment. And he concluded from that there were hidden messages in water. And that's what he called his research, yeah? What are the hidden messages in water? Now, as far as I'm concerned, this sort of thing is spiritual, okay? I mean, it can't be explained, it's not logical, so it is spiritual, okay? There is obviously a vibration with the words, and it's affecting the water that it's that is in the container that it holds. And so with rice, obviously it's like whatever it is, 70-80% water, so it would affect the way the rice rots. Yeah. Okay, so and beyond this, that's the rice experiment, and people have actually replicated these experiments many times by different YouTubers, by different researchers and all that, and it just generally always happens the same. It's always the same results. Okay, so what we're going to do is, in these experiments, I'm going to replicate the experiment but with a twist, because I have an agenda. I want to show you that God exists, that your life purpose is a good thing and does exist, right? So we're going to adapt it to the life purpose journey and to God. There is one more thing. There's the plants experiment. Okay, so you can do the same thing, because living organisms uptake water and they're made of water. Obviously they will also be affected by the change in the water itself. Okay, so what you do is you get three plants or more, and you stick labels on them, right? So you stick love on one of them, hate on one of them, ignore on one of them, and you watch them grow, and you'll find that the love one thrives, the hate one generally shrivels up and dies, and the ignore one is pretty bad as well. Okay, so we are going to test all of it. I am going to test the rice experiment, the plant experiment, and I'm going to do it all with a little bit of a twist. And I have some other experiments as well that I'm going to be doing. Okay, things that I'm thinking of as I go. So if you are curious about what's going to happen, if you're curious about the results, if you really want to know what the results are, I want you to hit that subscribe button. That's how you support my channel. And let's show you. I'm going to show you now what I did. I'm going to show you how to make rice with a pot, not a rice cooker. I don't have a rice cooker. I don't eat a heap of rice. I'm making the rice for the rice experiment, because I'm just washing the rice at the moment. You don't need to measure out how much rice you're using. Okay, I'll show you a way to measure out how much water you actually need. You just need a pot with a lid, and I would suggest you get the rice. If you're going to eat rice, get the rice from an Asian grocery, because there's a ton of different rices around. And the Asian grocery has much better rice quality, yeah, than your supermarket. And so I'm going to rinse this out twice, or you just rinse it out until you get clear water. So basically, the rice that I use or eat is, I think it's from Thailand, and it's a very moist rice. So it's fluffy and soft and moist. That's how I like my rice. Okay, so we rinse that twice. And now what you do is, if you're ready to go, just settle the rice at the bottom, put enough water right? So that when you put your finger on top of the rice, the water comes up to the first indent of your forefinger. Now, obviously everyone's forefinger is different, but mine's a little bit like that size, okay? So you just put on top of the rice, and then you can see whether it comes up to the forefinger. If it's not, then just add a bit more water. Make sure the rice is leveled. That should be about right. So you can just have a look, see how much rice and water is in there. And then I normally just give the bottom of the pot a bit of a wipe, because you don't want water sort of at the bottom. You want to bring that to the boil with the lid on. Okay, so that's good, and that will take probably a few minutes to start boiling. Once it starts boiling, what you want to do is you want to like take the lid off. Okay, you want to evaporate all the water off. This is like a you can see there, it's like it's a big flame. All right, but you're going to need a very small flame for the last bit, the smallest flame you can get. All right. Okay, so it's starting to boil, so I've taken the lid off, and what you want to do now is you want to let it evaporate until there's the water's all evaporated from the rice. Okay, you can sort of see now that the water's sort of all evaporated, right? Yeah. So it's about right now for you to put the lid onto the rice. Put it on a very small flame. So I'm just going to switch and I'm going to turn it right low. Right, so you need to put it on a very small flame, and then you want to set that, I'm setting the timer, 13 minutes. Right. Okay, so I found 6 jars, 2 of the same of each, and for these 2 jars, I put about 3 tablespoons of rice, and today's date is the 16th, no, it's not the 16th, it's the 17th of January. Okay, so this one here says, I don't know if you can see it, says no purpose, and this one says life purpose. Okay, I want to see if the different vibration between having no purpose in life and having a life purpose. Okay, this one here I put abuse, and this one here I put, if you can see it, God's healing. Okay, and this one here I've put hate, and this one here I've put love. Now, they all have a similar amount of rice in them, and I've obviously closed the lid. This is where they're sitting. It's just in front of the TV in my home, and I've alternated them between good and bad, good and bad. So, you know, there's bad, good, bad, good, bad, good sort of thing, so that it doesn't, you know, the placement doesn't affect it too much. All right, so we'll be following this for at least a few weeks, I think a month, and we'll see if it has any effect on the rice. Okay, so today is day 7 of the rice experiment, and so it's been a week, and I'm just going to show you the results so far. It's actually really interesting. So first jar, the life purpose jar. Oh, sorry, no purpose jar. Okay, no purpose jar has got like a big black moldy bit there with a bit of brown on it, right? And then you've got some sort of a orange browny bit there and some green there, and that's the bottom there. You can see it's getting a bit gungy. Okay, so that's the no purpose jar. That doesn't seem to be doing very well. The life purpose jar. Okay, so we're looking at a little green bit there. Pretty much okay there. There's a bit of a brown spot at the bottom there. Okay. But that seems, the life purpose jar seems to be doing much better than this jar here, which is going all gungy. These two jars are the same. Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting. Okay, alcohol and drugs jar. These two jars are the same. This one's alcohol and drugs. This one is really like the worst jar of all of them. You can see there's brown bits. It's actually gone black in some bits, like most of it. Look at that bit. Look at all that black bit and the brown. Oh, it's disgusting. Look at this. Oh, gross. Look at all the black bit. It's really, really big. This black bit here. Oh my God, the mold. So, from what I can take of it, alcohol and drugs is not good for you. Okay, we're moving on to the same jar as this other one, as the alcohol and drugs one, but we've got God's healing on it. You can see there's a tiny little brown spot there. There's a bit of discoloration there. Yeah, there's a tiny bit of discoloration probably on the inside there, and that's the bottom there. So you can see that it is turning a little bit slightly, sort of, it's like a browny orangey colour, sort of, kind of, not quite, but yeah. But the God's healing jar is doing comparatively very well compared to the drugs, alcohol and drugs, and even the no purpose one. Okay, moving on to the hate jar. The hate jar, I believe, is doing okay so far. It's got a little bit of an orange bit and green bit there, and the bottom seems to be doing okay. The hate jar is surprisingly doing not bad. Okay, it's not too much going on there. All right, the love jar. Now this is where it gets interesting again. The love jar's got a green bit on it. It's like a bright yellow green sort of color on one side. There's a tiny bit of brown happening there and there, and that's the bottom. The bottom's pretty clear. So there, you have the love jar with a bit of green stuff going on. Now, even more interesting, this is the jar with no label. It's basically ignored. It's the same as the ignored one that they do in the experiments, right? This one has gone really bad. Look at it. It's all gungy, and it's kind of orange, and it's got a lot of moisture at the bottom, and it looks like it's kind of like dissolving and gross. right? It's got no black bits, but it's kind of like soggy and crap. That's the bottom there. See how it's all sort of wet and sort of brown? Ugh. It's quite gross, actually. It looks not very nice. Okay, now the God jar, turn around. It's got it's got the green sort of yellowy color there, and then it's got a big bit of mold here. Now, I looked at this mold, and it's grown a little bit over the few days, right? The jars, overall, the jars started turning color and giving, you know, all these effects on the 4th day, right? But this jar here has got a big mold on it. But if you look very carefully, there's no brown around the mold. In fact, the rice inside the mold is white, and around it is this greeny sort of yellow color. There is a slight bit of brown there, just there, but not very brown. But it's very interesting that although there's mold in this jar, it actually looks really beautiful. Now, I don't know about you, but if you believe in God, then you believe that God is creator of all things, and he created everything, including bacteria and mold and whatever else, right? And yeah, but this particular jar, the rice is, I'll show you the bottom. The bottom is actually quite okay. It's got the green color going through it. But the mold itself is actually quite a beautiful formation. It's not actually, I'm going to try and get a close-up for you. There. You can see it's black, but then the white is white still. And it's got that greeny color around it. It actually looks really beautiful. Okay, so I don't know, like, if that's the reason being is that God allows for things to be present, but I mean, it doesn't mean that it goes rotten, you know. And the other thing is, there's a common theme here with the ones that are negative going brown and black and gungy, right? Whereas the positive words such as God and love, God is love, by the way, right? And life purpose, they have an element of a light green, yellowy color happening with them. So I wonder if that's the essence of the vibration of God and love and healing. Yeah? So far, I think the results speak for themselves. Yeah? There is something happening here. Okay, everyone, I'm going to give you the 2-week update on the rice experiment. And I'm also going to give you the messages that are coming from the jars. Okay, the hidden messages that are coming from the rice experiment. All right? Okay. What messages are in the jars? Okay. Now remember, it's only 2 weeks, so we are going to continue with this experiment for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. In fact, I'm just going to leave the rice in the jars indefinitely to see what actually happens to them. Okay? Right, but I will be giving you an update at the 3-week mark and the 4-week mark. So make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you can get the updates. All right? Okay. What messages are coming from the jars that I can tell you? Okay, first of all, the God jar. Okay? The God jar has basically got the fungus now, the black pure fungus growing right through the jar. Okay? The rice, whatever is left of it, is still pure white, except for the green tinge, light green, yellowy tinge that's going through the rice. It's a very light color. It's actually quite pretty. When I look at this jar, all I can say to you is I'm in complete awe of it. It is beautiful. There's a lot of contrast in the jar. And what it's telling me is that God exists. He's awesome. He's created all living things, and they can all live in harmony with each other. Yeah? He's here because of this green, light green color. Now, the light green color, I've been thinking about this light green color. That's a theme in all the positive jars that, you know, with the positive labels. And the heart chakra, I've remembered, is also green in color. Okay, so I believe that's why the light green color is going through the life purpose jar and the God jar and the God's healing jar and the love jar. It's because they are all interconnected. You know, the heart chakra is green. The heart chakra represents love. God is pure love. The essence of God is pure love. The life purpose journey is a God-given path, so it's all interconnected. And yeah, and love, with a love jar, it speaks for itself, yeah? So yes, this jar is, at first I thought, oh no, it's a fungus, whatever. But there are no brown bits whatsoever. It's completely, the rice inside the fungus is still white. Okay, it's still white, as you can see. The message I'm getting from this is all living things can live in harmony. Black with white. All organisms that are created by God can live in harmony with each other. And that He exists, and He's actually showing us He exists in this jar. Through the green going through it, and also through the fact that this jar is different to all the other jars. No jar is like this. Okay. Let's go through with this jar here. The answer to life is not through drugs and alcohol. Okay? If you turn to drugs and alcohol for your recreation, to get some relief at the end of the week or whenever, to medicate yourself from the depression or whatever it is, if you turn to drugs and alcohol, this is what happens to you. It's not good. This is the worst jar out of all of them. It is gungy, it's gross, it's brown, it's rotting, it's got black bits in through it, got brown bits, it's got everything, right? If this is what this label is doing to this jar of rice, what is the real stuff doing to you? Okay, the answer is not this. The answer is this, God's healing. This jar, the rice in this jar, is completely still white and fresh. except maybe there's a tiny little bit here that's slightly brown. Yeah, it's completely white, fresh. If you have a life purpose, you're still going to rot, you're still going to age, yeah? You still have to go through the cycle of life. But you're going to rot a lot less than if you have no purpose. Okay? If you have no purpose in life, you're going to be rotting a lot. Like lots and lots. Here's a two comparison. This is life purpose. This is no purpose. See the difference? And again, you can see the green, light yellowy green colour going through the life purpose jar. Okay. If you ignore something, it's still pretty bad. It's probably not as bad as hating on something, but it's still pretty bad because it will destroy you. It will rot you out, yeah? This jar with the no label, the ignore one, is rotting, yeah? It's pink, it's gludgy, it's browny, but it's more pink and gludgy, yeah? So ignoring something may not be as bad as spreading hate or the rest of it, but it's still bad, you know? Ignoring something, ignoring God, for example, ignoring a family member or a friend, being ignored by someone, ignoring the fact that you have a medical condition and not getting it fixed up. This is what happens. Pretty bad. Now, ironically, the hate jar, the rice in the hate jar is actually still pretty fresh. It does have some brownie spots at the moment. It's remained fresh for quite a long time, but it's not doing too well now. It's starting to deteriorate, and I think that it probably will deteriorate quite quickly. Yeah. So it's still fresh, but it's like, you know, it's not going to make it, I don't think. We'll see in a few weeks what happens to it. So there you have it, folks. The hidden messages in the rice experiment after 2 weeks. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like this video so that you can get the next update. I've got lots of experiments that I'm doing at the moment, so make sure you watch those. And I invite you to come on the journey, the life purpose journey with me, where you will get to know God as the creator of all living things. All right, see you later. I didn't do the love jar, so I'm going to do it now. The love jar is the most green, yellowy colored jar in the pack, yeah? And it's still, the rice is still relatively fresh, but it's got a lot of that green happening right through the jar, okay? Okay, I'm going to give you the 3-week update, okay? All right. The God jar is still all black right through with the white rice inside. There are still no brown bits, just that light tingy green going through it, and obviously the black and the white rice. The rice is still white and pure. Yeah. These two jars are relatively the same, the life purpose and the purpose jar. You can see that the no purpose one is much more deteriorated than the life purpose one. In fact, the life purpose one seems to still have rice going on, whereas this one looks like it's all sort of almost gone. Yeah, this one's almost completely deteriorated. The drugs and alcohol jar seems to be getting worse and worse. Okay, it's disgusting. The God's healing jar remains fresh as ever. Okay, the hate jar is starting to go. It's got brown bits in it, and it's got, oh, it's just not nice, but it's still got some fresh rice in it, but it's going. The ignore jar has even got little bugs. I can see little bugs in there. Oh God. Anyway, so it's sludgy. It's kind of like a dark browny pinky color, and it's pretty gross. That's the ignore jar. And the love jar is that yellowy greeny color, and it's got a green dark mold growing in it. Okay, and it's got that brown bit there as well. That's the love jar. Now okay guys, that's pretty much it for the results. I am doing some more experiments. The next one I will be showing you, if you're interested, is the plants experiment. We want to see how the plants grow with the words on them. And I'm actually conducting a whole lot of different experiments at the moment. So if you want to see more videos and you want to support the channel, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to this channel and hit the like button for this video, and then and also write me a comment and just tell me if you're watching the videos and if you're interested and where you stand with, you know, your life purpose journey. All right, I'll see you next time in the next video. Bye. Thanks for watching.